All right, as you can see, we're on a 2-minute chart. All right, and we have a uptrend. This is the 20 off of the red line, or the 26 EMA, 12 EMA. I'm used to using the 8 and the 20, but 20 to 12 EMA is blue, 26 EMA is red, and we have the MACD line, right, which is the same moving average numbers as the EMAs. And we have the ATR, March, which symbolizes volatility, or anything that's above 10. It's a good trading room, right? Now you just gotta wait for the strategy. So what we're looking for here is possibly a nice setup. The averages crossed, right? And now we're looking for the moving averages to possibly cross. So therefore we can consider this a downtrend. Right now it's still an uptrend, right? Because it's a minor downtrend because these crossed, but as far as the overall, we're still bullish. So let's just wait for a pullback, all right, as this trade continues on. All right, and remember, this is a 2-minute chart. And as you can see, even when it opened here, around 8:30 Central Time, that's what it did. And technically, we're in a range, if you ask me, right? Somewhat of a range here, even if I didn't count that. Yeah, somewhat of a range where sometimes it's okay to leave this box alone and wait until it comes up or out, right? It's always a possibility. But what we're trying to do is figure out if this moving average is going to cross or if it's going to stay positive. And that's what we're looking for here. And one trade is good, right? We'll use one contract, we'll scalp it, and we'll wait for an entry. And I think what we're looking for is a pattern now, right? So for me, I'll take that entry, my stop is there, and we just made money in about, 3 seconds, right? That's one trade, made $100, all right? What did we do? We saw the downtrend continue, it crosses the average, came back with this candlestick, which in a downtrend, that's what this is, it became a downtrend. Once these cross, immediate downtrend, you can trade this short for a 10 point, right? And $100, you can make that in 15 seconds, right? That's just one contract. So look at that, practice that. This is a good setup, works pretty often if you know what you're looking for and if you can catch it, right? As soon as it goes red, top of this bar is your exit. It takes you out, that's okay, right? It's probably going to be positive next time. Going to be a good trade. Here's another possible short, right? That last trade was a short. You got to keep that in mind. We did go short. So now we're looking for another short, possibly, depending on what this candlestick does. So right now, I would take it short. Why? It came up to resistance. It shot down. And let's see if it's going to reward or not. Either way, the direction was short, right? And sometimes you can get that immediate burst, or you can just wait a second and see if it makes a pattern. This is a big green bull bar, and again, I still feel a little bit comfortable going for that trade, right? And let's see if it will work out, right? Remember, the idea is still short. The idea is going for a 1-to-1. My 1-to-1 ends up providing me with $100, right? And then if I lose out on the trade, here's another possible long trade you can take. All right, so what we have here is we have The MACD line has now crossed and it's above, right? So now we're similarly waiting on the averages to go in sequential order as well. As you can see, we're waiting for the 8 to get above the 20. The 8 is the blue, the 20, well, the 12 is the blue, the 26 is the red. And we're looking for it to break these highs here, which it looks like it's approaching. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for a possible pullback, right? Came down and look what it did here. Look what it did here. All right, created a double bottom beautifully, actually, along with the hammer, along with the inside bar. This would have been maybe a good trade to take. You know, as soon as this goes green, follow it up, right? Have your exit maybe into this, or, you know, somewhere in here you could have went green, right? Across beautifully. All right, now look what we're doing here. We tagged some of these highs here, actually surpassed it, and now we're looking for a pullback. But now what was resistance is now support, so we're looking possibly for support down here. So let's see if that's going to happen. Why did I look at this trade? Because I saw these bars. Saw down here, double bottom shows strong support. And as you see, these things start forming, these big bars, and it starts crossing. You know, this would have been a good entry after this kind of bullish bar. But your risk, risking a little bit, just keep in mind, you have to know your exit. Is it here? Is it right under it? So just keep in mind that you got to know your exit. And what we're doing here is we're not going to short. It is support, right? It's support up here. Resistance up here, but we're not going to short that, right? Why? Because everything is kind of giving us the direction that we'll probably likely do better if we long, right? The percentage is higher. Why? You have these averages are above each other. So who's looking to long? I would be, right? So let's just see if that's going to produce it. You have the bottom, you have the top. But look what the top is doing. Yeah, it's coming down. It's more green. 1, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Then you have a flurry of red. But look at these boys. It just destroyed it. Destroyed it. And that's what you want to look for. You want something that's just destroying the opponent. So now what we want here is a possibly, I do a long trade. Why? Because we have, to me, this became the new support, right? And I want to see if it's going to maybe spike up through here. I got a little late, right? But nobody's going to have a perfect entry, right? And what I want to do, see, on this trade right here, you have an uptrend, right? It pulled back somewhat to support right here, and maybe you would think to take this trade because it pulled back, which is pulled back just a red bar. It pulled back a little bit, came back, but you would think, like, I should just take this trade. I don't think it's a good idea. But if you do here and then make your exit below this bar, which the pattern is an outside bullish bar, and if you go back to the manual, an outside bullish bar is a bullish signal, which once it crosses above, which I might have gotten it prematurely, your exit will be below the bar, the green bar, and you're going to go and you're going to trade long. And in my world, I'll go to the next swing high, which is about, right here. And we're going to see if this trade is going to work out. All right, goals for long, guys, right? Let's see if this trade is going to work. I was only risking 150 on that trade, I believe. And I'm okay with risking 150 on the trade. If possibly, I mean, honestly, if I can even get up here. Let's see if it's rewarding. You know, my goal is I think 420 a day, right? 410 a day on one trade. And that trade honestly worked out perfectly. All right. And just keep in mind, what did we do? Right? We saw it pull back, it was too far from averages. Then it created a pattern, went above this green bar, exit below the green bar, and you ride it up 2 candlesticks, which I got out up here, which I'm glad I did. And we're looking like nice, perfect setup. All right, use that. Look at these averages, above, come back, go long, have your exit under here, entry here, and you ride it. You got support. You have a candlestick pattern, right? Big bar, took out the red bar, just put a stop under it, right? Whatever your account can handle, you put a stop under that, right? You ride it up. Now look what we have here. Looks exhausted a little bit, bullish, not bullish, but it's a doji, honestly. It's a doji bar. Maybe you can put your stop under here and you can ride it down like some people, right? And to me, my stop will be there. You know, if you're bold enough, exit here, and let's see if this trade would work out, right? And why did I do it? Pressure up here, kind of little step down, and you don't always have to go for like your rich target, right? You can go for maybe a quick 100 because you know it's a counter trend trade. It's still counter trending, so it can still go against me very, very fast, right? Like it's likely to do now because I'm actually just chit-chatting away. But that was a trade that you could have scalped. Look at this beautiful step down, created a little low doji, and you can go from there. All right, guys, look what we have in the Dow. All right, so we have the Dow 2 minute. We have the averages crossing. I mean, it's going straight up, right? So now we have resistance. First resistance right here is the previous high, which is the green line. So now let's see how it's going to react to it. You know, is it going to show some rejection? Is it going to pop through it? So this is where we want to see how we can do a short trade, right? What else would you be looking for possibly but a continuation, right? But where will your exit be? Is it below this bar here? Which could be, which is okay if it is, but it could be below this bar. It could be the average. It could be the 20. It could be here. Like, you know, you just have to pick where your account size is. I think from, you know, 34,197 to, I mean, it's a lot of points, guys. You're missing a lot of money. So you want to go 10 points, which will be here, which is probably going to hit. Let's see. Let's put a line. We have to guess, right? Yeah, hit it, right? So be careful on where, you know, you decided to chase the market, right? Because chasing the market may not be a good idea if it's at least 3 big bars, right? You know, it's going to probably got to breathe a little bit, right? You might should have gone on this second bar, maybe the third bar, but 4 bar, you know, you're taking your chances, right? So right now, let's see what it's going to do. And does it want to show rejection? I'm not too comfortable with this being so far away. So this is not a trade that I'm willing to take. I mean, we're still looking long, right? but you got to be careful. Maybe since this is the high 25, maybe I'll be willing to get in right here, maybe at the 5 mark, right? But that's just somebody it's a calculated trade though, right? It's very calculated, but with everything pointing up so strong, you got to be careful. But if you're risky enough, take the trade and see if it rewards you fast enough that it's beneficial, or if it's just gonna come crashing through. Either way, you have your stop, and you got to be careful that not having a stop because you think it won't go higher. You gotta be careful, right? You just want 10 points. You got 10-point volatility. Be very careful on how you judge the market on what the market will or won't do, right? Because we know it will crush you. But if you just be patient with it, pick your entries just a little wisely, right? I think you'll be happy with some of the results, right? And if you are okay with losing that trade, I think you'll be okay definitely with winning the trade, right? But being okay with losing is the first battle in this trading journey. And even though it's in playback, it still feels bad that you will lose a trade. But if you play it like it's real, it ends up not feeling as bad, because you can say, hey, I executed that trade pretty well. I got 10 seconds before the trade ends. What should I do? This makes an inside bar. Do I want to get out? Do I want to stay in? It's at resistance. So I want to stay in because it's at resistance, and I want to stay in for 2 bars, right? And if 1 bar just went through, it's time for this bar to show me something and what it wants to do. And if it wants to climb up, let it climb. But right now we're still in the counter. We're trending. Guess what? It is shorting. We're at the high. We're at the resistance. I got in with a 10-point move, and I want to see if it's going to hit my target. Usually it will be the first resistance will be down here to 20. The first moving average would be to 12. But I want to see if, when we go into 1-to-1, you don't have to move your first profit, right? If you got one contract, let that one contract hit. Or be ready to get in, or to have a mental take profit, right? We find a direction, we initiate the trade, and we take the profit. And then, of course, you got to manage that trade, right? In between all of those, the first fit strategy, right? And let's see what it's going to do, right? My projection is going to hit, right? But let the chart tell you what it's going to do versus you trying to dictate what it's going to do. But right now, what do you do, right? Take your hands off the mouse, right? And trust your process. Let's make sure that what you're doing is accurate, and let's see what's going to hit, right? Come on, guys, we got 20 seconds. And sometimes talk to the market. Say, hey, Dow, the stop is there, right? It's right in front of you.